Time now for Dollars and Cents. Banks make a lot of money off of you, and the federal government is calling them out. A few weeks ago, we told you about junk fees. Well, this time, we're taking a closer look at a certain kind, overdraft fees. An expert I talked with explains how one bad purchase can send you in a downward financial spiral that could be hard to get out of.
Right now, typically the amount of an overdraft fee is about $35.
And that $35 can easily snowball into much more. Overdraft fees happen when you don't have enough money in your account to cover a transaction.
If I overdraw by 25, I don't just have to get the 25 back to even. I have to pay 25 to get it to even and then an extra 35.
And you're on the hook for that $35 fee every time you overdraw or spend more than you have, no matter how small the amount.
As you can see, that can really put somebody even further in the hole than they already are.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau estimates 23 million households pay overdraft fees in any given year, meaning billions of dollars for banks. Now the feds and the state are trying to help you. Earlier this year, President Biden proposed cutting the average overdraft fee in half, saying, quote, "For too long, some banks have charged exorbitant overdraft fees that often hit the most vulnerable Americans the hardest, all while banks pad their bottom lines. Banks call it a service, I call it exploitation."
It has been affecting people in a negative way for a very long time, and for the purposes of penalizing folks that don't necessarily have the cash flow to pay for these penalties as well.
Also, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is proposing new rules that would require the country's biggest banks to be better at telling their customers about these fees. Last October, Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law a junk fee ban in California, starting July 1st.
These types of junk fees are definitely coming under more scrutiny.
Here's another doozy. That credit the bank gave you to complete a purchase you can't afford not only comes with that $35 fee, it can also come with interest. So the feds are also calling on more transparency from banks on the details of that credit.
Especially after COVID, it was seen as basically an extra tax, and so they saw it as like an extra punishment that really wasn't that necessary.
The California junk fee ban, starting July 1st, is pretty broad. It's not specific to just overdraft fees, but it doesn't necessarily stop companies from charging extra fees. It just requires them to do better in telling you about them. Also, there is already a law in place requiring certain credit unions to report the revenue they get from overdraft fees.
But I'm sure folks want to know, how can they just avoid them altogether?
Right, that would be the goal, and that's a great question. You really have to put the work in, look closely at your spending. Watch the money that's leaving your accounts. Do you have automatic payments or subscriptions you forgot about that you just don't need? So try this. For 30 days, check your online banking account every day. Paley says this could kind of make you a little anxious, but try it for a month and it'll help you understand your cash flow. And you know, sometimes the truth hurts, but you want to get ahead of it, right?
So that way you can take action about it.
Yes, that's the key.
Okay.